Tonight on News Prime, President Tinubu to send bill to National Assembly seeking protection of whistleblowers. Mpox spreads to 19 states, cases rise to 40. In business, Kano government orders closure of accounts of ministries and agencies. On the foreign scene, UK, Germany sign new treaty. And in sports, Ekong Osime, Aino 21 others battle Benin, Rwanda in 2025 AFCON qualifiers. Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to News Prime on Global Television, coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Uyi Agumofwegbe. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV, channel 365 and free to air on Nigecomsat. Let's begin by telling you federal government and the Academic Staff Union of Universities ASU have scheduled a follow-up meeting for September 6, 2024. Minister of Education, Professor Tahiru Mamman, made this known at the end of a meeting with the union leadership at the Federal Ministry of Education. Following resolutions reached at the union's National Executive Council meeting held at the University of Ibadan on August 19, 2024, public university lecturers had threatened to go on a nationwide strike over the federal government's failure to honor the 2009 renegotiated agreement. The union's demands include improvements in welfare and university funding, as well as halting the proliferation of universities across the country. Minister of Finance Wale Edun says President Bola Tinubu will soon send a bill seeking to protect whistleblowers to the National Assembly for its consideration and passage. Speaking at an event in Abuja, Edun said citizens who want to do the right thing by exposing corruption should be protected. A whistleblower policy was introduced by the administration of former President Muhammadu Buhari in 2016. However, attempts to enact a legislative framework have failed repeatedly. The coordinating minister of the economy should support the federal government in place policy that would engender transparency. The Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) says the distribution of permanent voter cards (PVCs) to new applicants across Edo State local government areas has commenced. The Commission's National Commissioner and Chairman of Information and Voter Education Committee, Sam Olumeko, in a statement said the distribution at the ward level had been concluded with 125,928 PVCs collected within 5 days. INEC, while urging applicants to come for their cards, noted that it would not release them to third parties. The Director General of the Bauchi State Emergency Management Agencies, Masood Aliu, has urged residents living in flood-prone areas to vacate their homes due to heightened flood threats. He made these statements in an interview where he said those residing in flood-prone areas and regions with a history of flooding should take the precaution of vacating their homes. The Executive Secretary of the Kaduna State Emergency Management Agency, Dr. Usman Ayatu Mazadu, says over 200 houses in Zaria and Sabongari local government area have been destroyed by recent floods in the state. Despite flood predictions and warnings, some residents have refused to relocate, resulting in significant damage. Dr. Ayatu Mazadu said while addressing the newsmen in the state that the state government had taken measures to mitigate the impact of the flood, including desilting drainage systems and conducting sensitization campaigns. Kebbi State Governor Nasirul Idris has promised to reconstruct the washed-away bridges and roads in the Suru and Meyama local government areas of the state. The governor made the pledge while inspecting the washed-away bridge along the Suru-Kawara-Dakingari Road and some rice farms destroyed by the flood in Suru local government area. He reiterated the readiness of his administration to extend hands of fellowship to all manner of people across the state. The Nigerian Immigration Service has deported the Zimbabwean Bishop Eben Nwitawi for participating in the Methodist Church leadership election process while on a tourist visa. In a statement issued by its public relations officer, Kenneth Udo, the service described the bishop's actions as a clear violation of the terms and privileges associated with the tourist visa as outlined in the Nigeria Visa Policy 2024. Kogi State Governor Ahmed Ododo has approved the appointment of 12 new permanent secretaries in the state public service representing their respective constituencies to fill the available vacancies. This was contained in a statement issued by the head of service, Elijah Evinemi. The governor stressed that the permanent secretaries were carefully selected based on merit, fairness, and justice. On a sad note, 2 people have reportedly been killed and another person injured after a plane tire exploded at an Atlanta airport in the United States. The tire of the plane had reportedly exploded as it was being removed at the Delta Airlines operations at Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport. The airport, which is located in the southeastern part of the United States, the state of Georgia, is renowned as the busiest in the world. A Nigerian Navy personnel, Abdul Rashid Muhammad, has been arrested for the murder of Aminu, the son of former Chief of Naval Staff, Vice Admiral Ishaya Ibrahim, retired. Speaking while parading the suspect in Abuja, the Federal Capital Territory Commissioner of Police, Benneth Igwe, said Muhammad had killed Aminu and stole his car 2 weeks ago. Igwe noted that about 2 weeks ago, Aminu Ibrahim, the son of Vice Admiral Ibrahim, retired, a former Chief of Naval Staff, was robbed and killed in Maitama area of Abuja, and his Prado SUV was taken. However, Abdul Rashid Muhammad has confessed to the crime and his car had been recovered. And now to some health matters. The current Mpox outbreak in Nigeria has spread to 30 local government areas in 19 states and the Federal Capital Territory, with 40 confirmed cases so far. A report from the Nigeria Center for Disease Control and Prevention, NCDC, also shows that there are so far a total of 802 suspected cases in 33 states of the Federation. The situation report was released a few days before the United States government donated 10,000 doses of Mpox vaccines to Nigeria. You're watching News Prime on Global Television, coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. When News Prime returns, Kano government orders closure of accounts of ministries, departments, and agencies. We have those details and more stories for you tonight. We urge you to stay with us. This is Global Television bringing you live broadcast of News Prime with Ui Agmofwebe. We thank you for your time with us. Kano State Governor Abba Yusuf has directed the Accountant General of the state to close all ministries, departments, and agencies' accounts with immediate effect. The governor gave the directive at a meeting with the chairman of the Kano State Internal Revenue Service and heads of ministries, departments, and agencies at the government house. According to him, the decision was adopted to ensure that all government revenue is properly accounted for and utilized for the development of the state. The federal and state governments have raised 100 billion naira for the procurement of prepaid electricity meters. Adebayo Adelabu, Minister of Power, said this was under the Presidential Meter Initiative Program. Adelabu disclosed these while addressing broadcasters in Ibadan, Oyo State capital, where he stated that President Bola Tinubu's administration has been making efforts to close the meter gap in Nigeria, adopting various initiatives. The federal government has initiated plans to enlist the services of an external auditor to verify the 2.7 trillion naira fuel subsidy claim by the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited and NPCL against the government. The yet-to-be-named auditor will assist the Office of the Auditor General of the Federation in determining the real amounts owned by the government. This development comes 5 months after the plan was supposed to be monthly Federation Allocation Accounts Committee meeting in April this year. The chairman of the House of Representatives Committee on Privatization and Commercialization, Hamisu Ibrahim, has pledged the committee's resolve to work with relevant committees in the House to pass legislation on electricity theft in the country. Speaking when he led other members of the committee on an oversight visit to Eco Electricity Distribution Company in Lagos, Ibrahim decried the rate of electricity theft in the country, saying the legislation would check the abuse. In a statement by the head of Public Communications, Bureau of Public Enterprises, Amina Uthman, The chairman called for collaboration between the committee and electricity power companies for effective and efficient power supply in Nigeria. Nigeria's daily oil production shrunk by 160,000 barrels per day in the second quarter of 2024. This was contained in a report released by the National Bureau of Statistics, stating that within 3 months, the country had recorded an average daily production of 1.41 million barrels per day. This figure is lower than first quarter's production volume of 1.57 million barrels per day. On the foreign scene, the founder-in-chief of Telegram, Pavel Durov, is said to learn whether he will face charges and even be remanded in custody after his weekend arrest by French authorities over alleged violations at the messaging app. Durov was arrested at Le Bourget airports outside Paris, while the judicial authorities have repeatedly extended his initial period of detention, which can last a maximum of 96 hours. As part of a probe that was confidentially opened on July 8, Durov is reportedly being investigated on suspicion of 12 offenses related to failing to curb extremist content on Telegram. The United States Pentagon says an oil tanker that was attacked by Yemen's Houthi rebels in the Red Sea last week is still on fire and may be leaking oil. The Pentagon also said attempts to salvage the Greek-owned and flagged MV Sunion have been thwarted by the Houthis, who have threatened more attacks. The ship is carrying more than 150,000 tons or 1 million barrels of crude oil, and a major spill has the potential to be among the largest from a ship in the recorded history. The Iran-backed Houthis, who control much of Yemen, say they have been attacking ships in the Red Sea for 10 months in support of the Palestinians in the war between Israel and Hamas in the Gaza Strip. Let's turn to East Africa now, where Kenya has unveiled the candidature of its former Prime Minister Raila Odinga for chairperson of the African Union Commission at a colorful ceremony graced by several East African community heads of states. Odinga presented East African leaders his overriding objective to running to becoming the continent's commission chairman.
One is to work with you, Your Excellencies, and make the AU more people-centered and serve the interests of the vast voiceless majority of Africans. I dream of an Africa where those borders and colonial languages no longer divide us. We don't want to see Africans to be divided as Anglophones, Francophones, Lusophones. I want them to be Africaphones.
Kenya President Ruto said Odinga enjoys a positive reputation as a zealous Pan-African who has consistently demonstrated strong faith in Africa's possibilities. U.S. prosecutors have issued revised charges against former President Donald Trump at his alleged attempts to interfere in the 2020 election after he lost to Joe Biden. They are in response to a U.S. Supreme Court ruling last month that said presidents enjoy a broad immunity from criminal prosecution for official acts while in office. The revised indictment lays out the same 4 criminal counts against Trump, which he denies, but they now relate to his status as a political candidate rather than a sitting president. It appears unlikely that the case and other criminal cases faced by the Republican will reach courts before this year's election on November 5. Our clock is ticking, apparently. In the meantime, we're turning to sports now, where as the excitement builds for the 2024-2025 UEFA Champions League, Europe's elite clubs are gearing for another thrilling season of high-stakes football. With the group stage drawn set to take place in Monaco, the final list of qualified teams has been revealed, featuring powerhouses from across the continent alongside some surprising newcomers. Alongside the UCL's historic 36-team league phase, the UEFA Europa League and UEFA Conference League draw will also take place shortly after. Cristiano Ronaldo, named synonymous with excellence in European football, is set to receive a prestigious honor from UEFA, solidifying his status as the UEFA Champions League's all-time top scorer. The special award will be presented by UEFA President Alexander Ceferin during the 2024-25 UEFA Champions League draw ceremony on 29 August at the Grimaldi Forum in Monaco. According to a statement from the UEFA website, Ronaldo's unparalleled achievements in the UEFA Champions League, including his 140 goals across 183 appearances, have redefined the competition's history. Cristiano Ronaldo has revealed that he plans to retire from football within the next 2 or 3 years, though he has not finalized when to bring his illustrious career to a close. The 39-year-old, who will turn 40 on February 5, 2025, continues to excel with Al Nassr in Saudi Arabia and remains active on the international stage. In a recent interview, Ronaldo revealed that his retirement from international football will be a spontaneous decision, catching everyone by surprise. Let's talk some local football now. Captain William Ekong, wing back Olaoluwa Aina, and forwards Victor Osimhen and Taiwo Awoniyi back in the Super Eagles nest for next month's 2025 Africa Cup of Nations qualifying matches against Benin Republic and Rwanda. This year's AFCON's man of the competition, Ekong, was discontinued for the match days 3 and 4 of the 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifying race in June as he was recovering from injury, while Aina, Awoniyi and reigning Africa Player of the Year Victor Osimhen were out injured altogether. There are 3 goalkeepers, including AFCON 2023 star Stanley Nwabali, 7 defenders, 6 midfielders, and 7 forwards. South American football was in mourning following the death of Uruguayan defender Juan Izquierdo, who collapsed on the pitch from an irregular heartbeat during a Copa Libertadores game last week. The cause of death was cardiorespiratory arrest linked to a cardiac arrhythmia, according to his club Nacional, based on the doctor's report. Very sad to say, no doubt about that. To end News Prime tonight on Global Television, here's a summary of some of our big stories. President Bola Tinubu will send a bill to the National Assembly seeking protection of whistleblowers. Monkeypox, otherwise called Mpox, has spread to 19 states, with cases now rising to 40. In business, Kano State government has ordered closure of accounts of all ministries, departments, and agencies. On the foreign scene, United Kingdom and Germany have signed a new treaty. And finally, in sports, we told you Ekong, Osimhen, Aina, 21 others will be battling Benin and Rwanda in 2025 AFCON qualifiers. And that's all we have for you for the news here tonight, and it came to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja, on Global Television. Just a quick reminder that we are on DSTV, channel 365, Star Times, channel 276, and free to air. Kindly follow us across social media platforms using @GlobalTVNG and other handles as you now see on your screen. I'm Muyi Agumofwegwe saying a big thank you to you for watching. We will see you again.